Hello everybody and welcome to Mountain Home, Texas and the YO Ranch. Now this is the exact type of place where this 2020 Can-Am Defender Pro belongs, and that's because these machines now work harder than ever. So in this video, I'm gonna go over all the changes on this new Pro model. We'll look at that massive bed back there, and then we're gonna load up some weight on the back, hit the trail, and see how it feels. What are we waiting for? Let's go. So JJ, we got a pair of new machines here now, and I know they're kind of similar, but they're also kind of different. So why don't you tell us everything we need to know about these two guys?
What we did is we started from a regular 4x4 vehicle and then added a rear module on it where you're able to, with that third axle. So that gives you the extra traction. And then with the Pro, we used the Max frame, which gives you a longer wheelbase. You get about 32 inches more in that wheelbase. So this brings huge comfort when you're driving the vehicle.
Yeah.
But also this gave us the ability to have some side storage. It's passed through from side to side. Toolboxes, a chainsaw, shovels, anything you need to put down there.
Nice.
It's a great feature. It protects from the harsh environments also. And then the biggest feature with both these vehicles is the box itself.
So here is the business end of this new Defender Pro, and easily this is the most important part of this machine, and this bed is pretty massive. We're talking 4.5 feet wide, 6 feet long. Now for tie downs, you get D-rings at the back and in the center, and then up front, you'll see once the camera adjusts, you get another fixed ring up there. And a real neat little feature I really like, look at that, a little measuring tape right on the tailgate. So if you're out here working on your gate, you can throw something down and measure it real quick. Now I want to peel these walls off, and we're going to use that skid steer right there and load this thing up once it's a flatbed. So the first thing you do once those bolts are out of there, you remove your tailgate wires, and then this whole wall is, once it's loose, pulls back like that, pops right off, and there's your flat deck. So loading up right now, guys, this will show you exactly why these removable walls are so nice. You get the skid steer, you don't have to worry about the width, you don't got to worry about squeezing between those walls. You just load it right up from the side, and it really does make it simple. And then of course if you got long stuff that's longer than those walls, well, you're still good to go. Now let's see you get loaded.
With BRP, we have the Link accessories. So the bed is already ready to mount Link accessories if needed in it. And you can also, on the top of it, you can mount those accessories.
I see. So these are the little pre-drilled holes right here. Those are where you can add accessories
Exactly.
into?
So you just need to drill and install your accessories.
Okay, I see. But then also these accept the cleats as well, right? Up here on the wall.
So you can use the Link cleats directly here. And if you want to build your own sidewalls with wood, just like the regular box, you can install those on that.
Gotcha. And then so the box over here on the 6x6 is the exact same, right?
It's the same box, so it's just two different types of vehicles. Same box. If you're wondering why you should buy one or the other.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question when you look at the two, right?
Exactly. Well, if you're going to go in a really harsh environment, you need that extra traction. Think of hunters, think of people working, maybe maintaining hydro lines or search and rescue, or they're probably going to want to go with that 6x6. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be more in maybe a flatland or the same type of environment you'd go with a regular Defender, then the Pro is the perfect machine for that. The longer wheelbase will give you much more comfort. The fact also that it's built on a Max platform pushes the engine about 3 feet farther, which is going to be definitely the quietest open cab vehicle that we have.
Very cool, JJ. I mean, I think that's just about everything. I think the last question I always like to ask is there one thing, one feature that you really love? One thing that stands out to you on these two machines that you think people are going to go crazy for?
To me, the first thing, I mean, it's a work vehicle, so the first thing is a box. I as a Defender user at home, I tried putting 8 feet material often in my Defender. It usually ended up in a mess in the backyard. So by far, the box is the best feature. There's some great trails here to test that 6x6. It's a really fun vehicle to drive. And then on the Pro, it's really the comfort and the quietness of the vehicle that's really special about it.
Cool. Well, awesome, JJ. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's go ride.
Perfect.
So first of all, the HD10 engine in all of these Defenders has been updated. It now makes 69 pound-feet of torque and 82 horsepower, but the torque number is certainly the more important one. Okay, everybody, Defender Pro, not the 6x6, and we're going to do a little bit of a rock climb here. Nothing too crazy, but just get a feel for it. I have it in low range. Let's feel the torque. Nice, she's climbing nice. Climbing no problem. No problem. Ooh, little belly drag there, the littlest belly drag. And that's definitely something you have to be aware of if you're going to go for this Defender Pro. Not the 6x6, of course, the regular four-wheel model. This thing has an insane breakover angle. The breakover angle is horrible. I don't know what the actual number is, but needless to say that this thing is going to be scraping its belly a lot if you're doing any real hard off-roading. So now we're out here in more of an open field, and we can see if we can't have a little bit of fun. So let's put her in two-wheel drive. So the long wheelbase really smooths out this machine. You get very little front-to-back bucking, and that just means that even when you're ripping through fields like this, it's incredible how smooth it is. But then you come to tight corners, and she doesn't really love to turn. It's not the kind of machine that you want to aggressively throw into a corner. It definitely just over or understeers quite a bit and pushes wide in every single corner. Yeah, you know what? You can have fun here, and I think if you were to buy this as a work machine and then maybe take it for occasional trail rides, you'd be served really well. But anyone who's thinking about something like this for more of a recreational unit, yeah, you got the wrong idea. You want to go look at a Maverick. So I think the question really becomes, between this unit and the 6x6, you know, which one do you get? Well, this unit, like I keep saying, it's a flat ground unit. It's not the hardcore off-roader. And if you do go for the Pro, you're going to get that massive storage bin back there. Now, the 6x6, on the other hand, if you go for it, you don't get that storage, but what you do get are 2 extra drive wheels. That thing is in 4-wheel drive at all times, and then you can actually put it in 6-wheel drive if you want to. That unit just did such a nice job. All the kind of imperfections in the trail and all the rocks when you're lifting a wheel, when this machine felt anyways like it wanted to lift a corner, the 6x6 just feels rooted into the ground. Having that extra set of wheels back there just makes the traction feel mega. But the 6x can work hard too. I mean, I had 1,000 pounds in the bed when I was in the 6x6, and it was still doing a fine job. The power was definitely there to get the load up and moving. And you know what? The payload rating is the same between this machine and that machine. So technically, they can both work just as hard. So again, really it comes down to whether or not the off-roading that you're doing is hardcore. If it's not hardcore, you want this Defender Pro. If it is hardcore, you definitely want the 6x. Now, if you want my answer, if I was laying my money down, well, guys, I'm an off-roader at heart, so I'd be getting the 6x6 all day long just to see if I could get it stuck, because I don't think anything on my trails back home is crazy enough to get that thing stuck. But I'd sure love to try. Even right there's another good example. I came around a corner there, it was all loose rocks and dirt, and this unit, it's spitting tires, it's churning a little bit of chugging. Everything I did in the 6x6, coming up all of those hills, it's just smooth and confident. You get no wheel spin, none of that chug. Now, talking about this interior here, I do have quite a bit of space. I'm not uncomfortable. Tons of headroom, lots of shoulder room, lots of knee room. So yes, these units also use Can-Am's ITC, Intelligent Throttle Control. That's essentially a throttle-by-wire system, and it allows them to have work mode and eco. So eco, self-explanatory, it's going to help you save fuel. It's actually going to limit your RPM and limit your power a little bit. Now, work mode kind of does the same thing. It's also going to make the throttle response less aggressive, but it's not going to take away any of that power. So in work mode, if you're sort of working around a farm or a ranch like I'm in right now, and you're close to buildings or close to livestock or something, you never want the machine to be jumpy, you never want it to get away from you, and that's what work mode does. It just smooths out the pedal while still allowing you access to all 69 pound-feet of torque.
Now let's look at this Defender Limited. So this is the top of the line model, and the Limited comes along with every feature you can get. So of course you get the full cab, and one of the great things about these doors, they're all rubber sealed. You can see the thick rubber seal right there, and that's just going to make sure that no dust is really intruding into the cabin, which is key. This thing also has automotive style power windows, a nice feature for sure. But there's one thing that Can-Am is making a really big deal out of that is new for this year, 2020, and that's these air vents, and more importantly, it is air conditioning. So let's hop in here. We're down here in Mountain Home, Texas, and it's certainly getting hot today, so the AC is appreciated, and that's our little HVAC screen right there. So let's start her up, and you can see right down there to the right of the knob, you got your power button. And I mean, this is going to be familiar to anybody who rides in a car. I mean, you set your temperature, you're able to go through. We're going to put it down to minimum. And then here's another big one, auto. That's a huge one, right? So this machine is actually the first machine, I'll shut it off just for noise. This machine is the first one in power sports to have auto climate control. So you're able to just hit the auto button, set your temp, and you know, regardless of whether it's the winter or the summer, it will turn on the heat or the AC to make sure you keep that temperature. Definitely a convenient feature, and yeah, if you're out here in a hot place like Texas, it's dang nice to have some AC. So right up front here on the Limited model, guys, there's this new little hood. It's not new, I should say, but there's something new underneath it, and that is right there. And that is the cabin air filter. Easy to access, so you know when it does come time to switch it out, you just open up this little hood and you're good to go. And this hood is great actually because it's hinged, unlike a lot of these where they come right off. It's hinged, so you drop it down, push it back up like that, and she just locks into place. Very nice. How many vents are in here?
So we have a total of 8 vents. So we have 4 up here. Because air conditioning and heating, you need to feel that air on the upper body.
Yeah.
We have 2 in the windshield for those cold days where you're going to push heat in it, and also 2 at the bottom to keep your feet nice and warm.
Very nice.
Exactly.
And here I am, everybody. I saved the most comfortable for last, also because I knew it would be way hotter later in the day. So here in Mountain Home, Texas, where we're testing these Can-Ams, we've been talking about anywhere between 95 and 100 degrees today. It's been a hot one. Now, I'm not feeling it right now. Why? Because of air conditioning. So I got the air conditioning blasting, and the one thing that Can-Am is making a big deal out of is automatic climate control. Now that's a bit of a joke because clearly automatic climate control is not that big a deal. It's been around for a long time in the automotive world. However, in the power sports world, nobody else has an auto button. So in this thing, you're able to pick the exact temperature you want, smash auto, and then it will basically know exactly whether to turn on the AC or turn on the heat, and you know, it'll keep you right at that temperature. And I can tell you, of course, I can't show you this one. All I can do is tell you that sitting in this cab right now, I'm quite comfortable. And another key there is sealing. So, of course, you get this whole cab, but it has to be sealed up to make sure you keep the cold in and keep the heat out. And that's something that Can-Am focused on. So the firewalls have been made thicker here. The sealing around the doors has been made thicker. Big rubber seals to make sure that you're going to keep, again, the elements out of all kinds. It could be rain too, or even dust. This machine really doesn't let the dust in either. So this is definitely the Cadillac of the lineup, and it feels it. Out here on the trail, first of all, you notice how nice these seats are. You get these premium seats. They get the limited stitching, but just more so than the stitching, they're extra soft, extra comfortable. Compared to those Pro models, these ones are the place to be. Now check this out too, guys. I've even got power windows, just like in your car, and I'm able to open driver's side and the passenger side window from right here. And I can also flip up the windshield. Now, I won't do it right now because the camera's on the windshield, but you can flip up your windshield and ride with the open shield if you want to. So what about this machine just driving it overall? Well, first of all, let's go ahead and give it the beans. Put to the floor. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's got acceleration, baby. It's got way more acceleration than the Pro model does. Now, this is an HD10 as well, so same engine. And same engine as the Pros, but of course the Pros are heavier, so they're just not going to accelerate as quickly. This thing has really nice acceleration, and then you heard me laughing. That's because of the cornering. Unlike those Pro models, I was getting really used to them just sticking in the corners. This thing, you can actually rotate it a little bit. The back end wants to come around on you. Yeah, you know what? For total fun factor, there's no contest. This unit with the shorter wheelbase is way more fun than those long Pro models. Fun, yes, although the ride here is just not as comfortable, and that's because of the wheelbase. The wheelbase in those units is so long, it smooths out the trail, whereas the wheelbase in this unit is not crazy long, so you really do feel every little bump and whoop along the way. Now, I do have one more complaint, sadly, and it has to do with the noise. So Can-Am says that this thing is much quieter now, and I do believe them when it comes to engine noise. The engine sounds way more insulated from you here in the cab. That's to do with, you know, firewalls being thicker, and they're just being more sound deadening. So that is true. However, these doors and this windshield, they all have those rubber seals that I mentioned, and I'm not sure how well you might be hearing it off the camera, but the rubber seals are constantly rubbing together and just creating this little bit of an annoying little squeak that's sort of constant as you roll down the trail. Just squeak, 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 squeak. It's not a huge thing, and let me tell you, I've only experienced it here in the limited model, only the ones with the doors. Take the doors and the windshield off, and you're fine. But putting on anything with the rubber seal like that and then bouncing down the trail, yeah, you just get a little bit of unwanted squeaking.
So there you go, guys. Now you've seen all the changes that arrived for the 2020 Defender, but I have to say, the real impact difference here is this massive bed. The fact that these walls come off and it become a flat deck and it dumps, this is just such a versatile machine, and I have to say, this is probably the hardest working Defender Can-Am has ever built. So guys, that's it for this video. Make sure you go below, leave a comment, hit like, hit subscribe, and then come right back to the channel for the latest news, views, and real world reviews. See ya.